Welcome back to a little series about how to make a character selection project in Unreal Engine. In this episode and the next one, it's all about hooking up our gamepad to the current project and seeing what works and what isn't working. Specifically, we want to make something happen that lets us select characters with our gamepad as well as with the mouse. Let's just have a look at what is already working with the gamepad and what isn't. So here's my running project. I can walk around with my keyboard and my mouse. So walk around with the keyboard, look around with my mouse. Well, with the gamepad default in here already, I can look around with my right stick. So that's already hooked up. And I can walk around with my left stick. So that is also already hooked up. I can also jump. I can also, move my orange highlight out of the way because that's just unprofessional otherwise. So those functionalities come for free with the third-person template. So Unreal, or Epic rather, have hooked those things up for us already. But of course, I don't currently have a button that allows me to summon the menu, so I need to hook that up. I was thinking about the top right shoulder button for that. That might work well. And I need to hook up my buttons so that I can then select the characters like I do with my 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, 6, and 7 keys. So we'll hook up those buttons in this episode. But the more important point is that should I hook up the button that brings up the menu, that's kind of fairly simple to do. How do we do this that we can go left and right on the gamepad and then select the character? What's that functionality? How do we do that? Well, lucky for us, most of that functionality is already built in to Unreal Engine, as well as many desktop applications. We just need to know about it and kind of, tickle it out, if you will. So if I were to put my gamepad to the side a moment and take my mouse once again and select any of the characters, and maybe the first one, that was already the first one, I can see that he will be selected as soon as I hover over with the mouse and click on it. And that is something that's called focus, that when my mouse hovers over something, it is kind of ready to take an action on whatever's underneath it. It just hasn't done it yet unless I press a button. And we have something similar for the keyboard focus. So watch what happens when I press the tab key on my bottom right hand corner here. I've selected, thinking about the fact that I've selected this guy, I'm selecting the tab key and there's a little dotted line that comes around on my next character. So what this tells me is that the previous character had its keyboard focus and then I'm changing it to the next option in the menu. So it works with the cursor keys as well. I can go press right on my cursor keys and right goes my cursor, or left, and then I will move my keyboard focus over to the next or previous element. So this works with cursor left and right or up and down, and it also works with tab or shift tab. And so this is important to understand because if my keyboard focus is now on the third woman here, on this character, I can press enter on the keyboard and my character will be selected. Likewise, press right on the cursor keys, then press enter, my character will be selected. And you can just about see that faint outline that shows me where the keyboard focus is. For now, we're going to amend that, we're going to fix all that, we're going to make it look super pretty. So I'm telling you all this because, thankfully, the gamepad hooks right into this functionality. So keep watching the line as I move my D-pad left or right. It totally works. I can select the character with that, and I can press the X button or the A button on the character on the gamepad, and the character will be selected. Same with level loads or the quit button. I can select those as well with the gamepad already. And so it does that functionality basically works. All we need to do is handle this case that when the menu is summoned, that my keyboard focus is being put onto at least one of these buttons, and hopefully the correct one. That is more difficult. So we're going to do that in the next episode. But in this episode, we're going to hook up the buttons and make sure we can use the D-pad on the game controller, as I've just shown you, as soon as I manually select the character. So to remind ourselves quickly, how do we actually bring this menu up? That's happening in our Cinti character, in our third-person character, essentially, in our new event graph here that is called Menu Shenanigans, and in it we have one input action which is called Summon Menu. And that I've mapped to the left Alt key, and this is the one that we want to map to the Gamepad key. That's happening under Edit Project Settings, under a category called Input. Here it is. And there's my bindings for the summon menu. So left alt key is mapped. Let's add another one here. I'm going to use the top right shoulder button on my gamepad, this one here. Let's see if we can find it. Left shoulder, there it is. That should work. And while I'm here, I might as well set up all the other buttons as well. So we have 4 outfits and we have 3 skin tones. So I was thinking of using the D-pad as the outfit changer. So this is the D-pad here, 1, 2, 3, 4. On the buttons, I'm going to use those for skin changes. I mean, the bottom one is already mapped to jumping, so I might leave that alone and just use these 3 to change the skin tone. Let's see if we can make it happen. So outfit 1 then, let's add another action mapping to it. And this one is also going to be the gamepad. This is called, I think they call it the D-pad. There it is. Let's make it, let's start with the one on the left and then we go kind of clockwise further up here. Outfit 2 will be mapped to gamepad, D-pad up. Outfit 3, we're going to go and map to D-pad right. And then outfit 4, we're going to go and map it to gamepad down, I think. There we go. That's the outfits mapped. Now skin color, same thing, add an action mapping to it. And in this case, we're going to use they call them the face buttons. So I'm going to use, again, left, top, and right. Face button left. Outfit B is going to be face button top. Outfit C is going to be face button right. And face button bottom is jumping, so we're going to leave that one alone. There we go. Close, and let's just see if that actually works. Always good to test that. With my game controller, that is cool. I can go and summon the menu. No, that doesn't happen. What a shame. Does anything work? Yeah, there we go. Character changing, that works. That's the D-pad right now. And then jumping still works, and the skin color also works. So it's just that summoning the menu, I've mixed up left and right here. Once again, I do. It's not easy for me, you know. It's sometimes I mix left and right up. It's kind of my dyslexia, I guess, kicking in there. Let's just fix that quickly. So I've hooked up the left one. Should have hooked up the right one. Duh. Might as well hook up both. In case I mix these things up again. Summon menu. Let's add another action mapping to it. This one's going to be gamepad shoulder right. I trust this is satisfactory. Now, I could already go and bring up the menu, but what isn't currently happening, there we go, is that I can't move the keyboard focus left or right. I can also see my mouse cursor, so I'm going to try and avoid that, try and make that invisible if we're using the gamepad in the next video. So once I select a character, no matter what character, the keyboard focus is on this, and then I can go left and right and select another character. So that is cool. So it appears then what I need to do, or what I need to add to the menu now, is pick a button, any button, and add keyboard focus to it manually. And thankfully there's a node for that. By the way, thanks to Dean Ashford for telling this to me. Dean has a really nice YouTube channel all dedicated to Unreal Engine, and he came up with this system, or explaining this system, and I'm going to link to his channel and this video in particular if you want to know more about it. So yes, thank you so much, Dean. Very nice. Let's go back into our character. I want to add my keyboard focus here in my character after I'm bringing up the menu. So summon the menu, show the menu, and then add keyboard focus. This is getting kind of medium complex, so I'm going to go and create a function to do that. Over here, I'm going to call that add focus, perhaps. There. And what that'll do is grab a reference to a menu. Selection menu, get that from down here. Get it, get in. And from that menu, we need to grab a reference to a button on that menu. So in my case, just to remind ourselves, these are the buttons here, and mine are called button character 1, button character 2, and so forth. So I'm going to use the first one just arbitrarily. We're going to change that in the next video. But for now, we're going to get a reference to BTN. There we go. BTN character 1. Get, perhaps, not set. Get BTN character 1. And onto this button it is that I would like to add the focus. So there's a note for that called set keyboard focus. And that's almost all there's to it. So all this function currently does is it grabs a button from our menu and adds focus on there. Now, we're going to amend this and come back to this in the next video. But other than that, we need to also add it here to the show menu thing. But there's a little peculiarity that we need to know about. So I can just go and say add focus here now. And in an ideal world, this should work. In reality, however, it does not, which is a bit of a shame. And I don't really know why. Dean kind of explains it, I think. I'm not sure if I understood it correctly, but so the problem is that when we bring up the menu and we've set keyboard focus, we still can't really do anything other than change our character's outfit here and skin tone, but there's nothing that goes left or right. There's no dotted line in our menu. And that is because we need to wait just a second before we add that keyboard focus. As I said, I don't know why, but it's one of those things. We can't know everything. I guess we can eat everything if we try. So we just go and add a delay here. Doesn't have to be long. 0.2 seconds is the default. That'll work. 0.1 probably is also going to work. Well, let's see what happens now. Make that full screen and bring up the menu with the gamepad. And we don't see a dotted line here. That's quite all right. The first button is focused. We just don't see it yet. So watch what happens when I use my D-pad to select the next character. Dotted line is back. Awesome. So the functionality is working in principle. I can also dismiss the menu, walk around, summon the menu again, and we do definitely have keyboard focus. If I now try to change the outfit on my character with the D-pad, like up and down, that doesn't work anymore because the D-pad is now dedicated to changing the menu left and right. It's just the visual representation of that is not exactly optimal. So let's go and fix that next. So yes, that is essentially how we add gamepad compatibility to it. It doesn't look great yet, but that's cool. We can iterate over that and make sure that happens. We can also, I think, load another level. Let's just go back, visit the day level for a second. There we go. So yeah, this is what we're going to do in the next video. We're going to go and make sure we're highlighting that button with the appropriate character so that it actually stands out with the green, red, blue, whatever background color of the character that we've currently got selected, so that gamepad users can then go move left or right of that. That is a little bit more tricky to make. So we need to then grab a reference to our skeletal mesh, find out what it's called, create another map variable to get the correct button out of it so that we can correctly focus on the next button. So more exciting stuff to come up in the next video. I hope you're going to stick around for that.